Hello. So I wanted to test out the GH5 on some wildlife before I take my big trip. So I went to Golden Gate Park, and this is some slow motion footage at 180 frames per second. I found that I didn't necessarily need 180 frames per second. A lot of times in post-editing I would speed it up slightly. So I think 120 frames per second would probably be just as good. I make it slightly better exposure, a little less trouble with white balance. In the super slow motion outside with the light, it was sometimes hard to get the right lighting, and you're in somewhat of a hurry to capture a good moment. So it was hard to get the manual focus and lighting to be perfect a lot of the times. When it was good though. So I also tested out some 4K 60p footage. So this is slowed down to 50%. So slowed down, I thought the 4K footage was good. There was definitely a little bit of hunting on the autofocus, which was frustrating. But I tried a couple different tests to work on that later. This is then regular speed, so 60p regular speed. On flying birds, I could maintain some amount of focus, but it was hard to maintain it for very long. Definitely flying birds are always challenging. So what we found best for wildlife was actually to have iPad or iPhone available. And for choosing what to focus on, I had my wife Brittany click on what animal. So in this clip, she was slowly changing from one goose or one geese to another one. So if you use the focus on a secondary app, it works much better. I had the camera on a gimbal, and so clicking on the focus or adjusting the focus on the gimbal was pretty much impossible. You need somebody else to do the focusing, and automatically the focusing didn't work. In this clip, we focused on the birds in the front, and then when the goose in the background started to splash around, switched the focus to the splashing goose. And then after it was done splashing, switched the focus back to the front. In this clip, we focused on the goose walking out of the water first, and then I slowly tried to pan away with the gimbal, and my assistant changed focus to the second goose. And then a third goose comes into view, and it takes a little bit of time for the focus to capture it, but once the tracking focus is on it, and I did a little bit better job on the gimbal, you eventually get that goose in the frame, and it holds the focus primarily. So this focusing method definitely was better. Focusing on the head of a herring was almost impossible. It kept grabbing weeds and brush and everything in the background. Final tests were just doing some tracking on Brittany walking, and focus held okay, went in and out a little bit depending on where she was in the frame, but I'm sure there's ways to better track this and better use the gimbal, so I can get that to work later. And then when Brittany turns to the camera, I would have assumed it would have been a better job since she's fairly centered, but it never grabbed her.
You had to talk.
Hi! Welcome to the pond where there's lots of bird poop and flowers and birds and more poop, which I got on my purse and my shoes. So it's going well today. I don't have any more stories for us. Can you see my face?
Yeah.
Here we are.
Brittany is leading the way.
Hello.
As you can see, quite nice plants and stuff and things.
And some spiky things.
Spiky things. Oh no.
Spiky things.
I also did some walking tests on walking up and downstairs, and walking upstairs, kind of mediums to slow pace with the gimbal. I thought it was pretty smooth. Definitely felt like the gimbal and the GH5 work great together in terms of smoothing out almost any bumpy sort of circumstance. Here you can see walking down the stairs. I'm definitely pivoting a little bit, but you can definitely see that it's very smooth, and for me bouncing up and down, not a big issue. And finally you have the goofy face slow motion, and as far as I can tell, the slow motion on goofy stupid person face works just fine, so I'm sure you'll see more of me doing stupid person goofy face. All right, thank you.